Now we created the auth card and we can implement our routes. But before that, we need to have the layout for our website. And for the layout, we need to have some components. So let's create them. The first component is a button. So let's create it. Let's open the Explorer and go to src, components, and in the general folder, we have Authspinner.tsx. Let's add a new file with name of button.tsx. That's it. First, let's create an interface for it. So I want to have an interface with name of iProps. And for this interface, I want to receive the variant which can be type of primary or secondary or danger or live. And after variant, let's have a type prop with the values of submit or button. So the type of the variant can be one of these string, and the type can be one of these strings, submit or button. And also let's have a label with type of a string. And after that, I want to have an onClick, and the type of it would be a function that receives nothing and returns a void. After that, let's have a loading state with type of boolean and also a disabled prop with type of boolean, and the loading and the disabled are optional. That's it. So let's continue, and after this, let's create our component. So I will use RAFCE, and let's delete this React. We don't need it. And let's use formatted document. That's it. So here we need to receive the props like the variant and also the type and the label and also the onClick and loading and disable. And we define them as the iProps. That's it. And the first thing is, let's create a variable with name of primary classes. And for it, I want to have some Tailwind CSS classes. So let's create them. The first one is text void. But here you can see that I have an space here. I will say you what is this and why we are using this space. So after text void, let's have this BG color and also this border color. And on hover, I want to have this shadow. This is it. So this is for the primary classes. And after that, let's have the const of secondary classes again with a space and the text of void and also this BG of amber and the border of amber, and also on hover I want to have this shadow. So you can see that we are creating the required classes and we'll use them. After that, let's have the const of danger classes, and again let's have a space and then text of void and BG of this color and border of this color, and also on hover we want to have this color. And for the next one, let's create a const of light classes, which equals to again a space and then text of this color and also the border of this color, and on hover we want to have this shadow. This is it. So we created 4 different classes for the variant of our button. Let's format the document and continue. After these classes, let's create a function for creating our classes dynamically. So let's create a const of class name creator, and this class name creator is an arrow function with the return type of a string. So this class name creator will return a string for us, and inside of that, let's create a final class name variable with the value of flex and also justify of center and align items of center and also outline of none and duration of 300 and height of 10 and also text of large and font of semibold and also padding x of 6 and rounded of 2x large and also border of 2. That's it. So after that, you can see that now we have the final class name but this is it. And after that, let's have an if, and we check that if the variant of our button is primary, we will add something to the final class name, which would be these primary classes that we created here. And because we have these classes, we are using this space for the classes would be true. So this is the reason that we are using this space in front of our classes for the primary and the secondary and the others. Now you can see that why we are using this space. Let's continue, and first we will check that if the variant is primary, we will add these classes to the final class. Else, if the variant equals to secondary, we will add the secondary classes to the final class name. Else, if the variant equals to danger, now you can see that we are adding the danger classes to the final class name. And then let's check that if the variant equals to light, we will simply add the like classes to our final class name. So you can see that we are dynamically creating it. And after that, let's add some other classes to the final class name. So after all of these and one of these, we want to have some other classes, and let's add them. So first, let's have a space again to have the true classes here, and after this space, let's have disabled of shadow none, and also on disabled we use bg gray of 300, and also on disabled we say the border of gray of 300 must be used. And after them, let's simply return this final class name. So this is a class name creator, and it will dynamically create the class, and it will be returned to us. So let's minimize it, and let's use format document again and continue. And after this class name creator, let's create another function with name of loading icon creator, and we say that this is an arrow function, and inside of that we simply return a division, and we want to use some class names for it. So we can use class names of width of 6 and also height of 6 and rounded of full, and also animate of spin, and a border of 2, and also border gray of 400, and for the border top we use border gray of 800. That's it. Let's format the document again and minimize this loading icon creator, and now we can simply work on the final version. So let's delete this div, and we want to have a button for it, and inside of that we can check that if the loading is true, we can use the loading icon creator, else we can use label. That's it. So let's format the document, and this is it. But here for the button we can use a type with the value of receive type. That's it. And also after this type, let's use the onClick, and we are receiving this onClick in the props. That's it. And after that, let's have some class names, and for the class names we want to use the class name creator, so everything would be dynamic. And after that, let's have a disable with the value of the receive disable, which is coming from disable, and format the document. So yeah, here we need to have this curly brace, and now let's format the document. So this is it. Let's have a quick overview. So in the first step, we created these props with the variant type, label, onClick, loading, and disable. Then in the button, we receive all of them and we work with them. So we create some classes to use them dynamically. And here in class name creator, we will create the final classes based on the input variables of variant. And also after that, we have this loading icon creator. And then we simply return this button. And inside of that, we have the type and also onClick and the class names and also the disable. And in the body of this button, we check that if the loading is true, we simply return this loading icon creator, which is this division, else we return the label. So this is it, and I think everything is okay. So let's close this button and go to the next one. After button, let's go to the component, and here we have the layout, and for this layout we can have a header and a sidebar. So let's create them one by one. I will create a new file with name of Header.tsx. That's it. And first let's import the use auth, and we created this use auth hook and we'll use it here. And also we need the button that we created it just right now. And then let's import some icons like AI outline home and also fi log and fi unlock. And after that, let's have the use navigate from the React router DOM. And after that, we need to have some path. So let's add path of dashboard and also path of public from routes. This is it. And after that, we can use RAFC to create our component. But let's delete this React because we don't need it. That's it. So inside of the body of this component, I want to import some things from the use auth hook, and I will destructure all of them here to use them. So I want to have the is auth loading and is authenticated, and also the user and the logout from the use hook. So we will destructure them here, and also let's create the navigate, which equals to use navigate hook, and we'll use it here. So let's format the document and continue. After this, let's have a helper function. I will create it and I will explain it to you later. So let's create it, and I will create a const of user roles label creator, which is an arrow function. So this is an arrow function that will create the roles label for us. Let's create it. So we will first check that if the user exists, we want to show something to the user, else we simply return this to dash string. That's it. But if the user exists, what we can do, first we can create a result which is an empty array in the first, and after that we will have the user. So the user must have some roles, and we will use a for each loop on the user roles, and for each one, you know that we can use this arrow function, and we will receive the role and index for each the role, and we will first add this role to the result, and after that we will check that if this, let me show you that if the index is less than the user.roles.length minus 1, which means that this is not the final one, we will add this string to the result. That's it, and after it we simply return the result, and that's it. So let's use the format document. So what we have done, we created this user roles label creator, and here we check that if the user exists, we return a string with all roles of the user, else we simply return this. That's it. So let's minimize this user roles and continue. First, for the division, let's have some class names like display of flex, and also justify of between, and align items of center. And for the background, I use this white color, and also height of 12 and padding x of 4. This is it. So inside of this division, I want to have two separate divisions, one for the left and also one for the right. So let's use format the document. That's it, and continue. So this is the left one. Let's delete this, and you know that we always use Tailwind classes here. So let's use some class names like flex, and also items of center and gap of 4. That's it. And inside of that, I want to have an AI outline home icon. And inside of that, I want to have some class names like width of 8 and height of 8, and also text of purple, and on hover I want to have another color, and also I want to have cursor of pointer, and also on click I want to navigate my user to the slash row. This is it. Let's format the document again, and after this AI outline, let's have another division. So for the division, I want to use some class names like flex and gap of 1. And inside of this division, I want to have some h1. So the first one is an h1 with class names of padding x of 1 and border of dashed, and also border purple of 300, and also rounded of LG. And inside of this h1, I want to have these strings outloading, and we will check that if the is outloading is true, we simply return this true, else we return this. And after this h1, let's have another h1. For the class names, let's use again padding x of 1, border of dashed, and border purple of 300, and rounded of LG, and flex, and items of center, and also gap of 1. And inside this h1, I will write this auth, and we will check that if the is authenticated is true, we return fi unlock icon with class names of text green, else we return fi lock with class name of text red of 600. And after this h1, let's have another h1 with class names of padding x of 1 and border, and also border of dashed, and border purple of 300, and also rounded of LG. And inside this h1, I want to write the username, and we will check dynamically if the user exists. We will use user.username, else we use this string. That's it. And for the final h1, let's have some class names like padding x of 1 and border of dashed, and also border purple and rounded of LG. And inside of that, I simply use this user roles, and we use the dynamic value of user roles label creator that we created it here. This is it. So we're using this helper function inside of this h1. So this is it, and let's format my document. That's it. So we created the first division, then we have a division for the left, and then we have this right, and inside the left one, we created this icon, and after that we have this division with some h1. So let's minimize this division, and also let's minimize the left division completely and continue on the right one. So let's delete this right. On the right side, we want to render everything conditionally. So let's open a curly brace to use the JavaScript, and we will check that if the is authenticated is true, we return something else, we return something else. So what we are going to return in the case of the is authenticated is true. I want to have a division, and inside this division I want to have some class names like flex and items of center and also gap of 2. And inside of this division I want to have a button, and for this button I want to have the label of dashboard. And on click, what we need to do, we need to use the navigate, and we will redirect our user to the path of dashboard that we created previously. And also after that, let's have a type of button and variant of light for this button. So after this, I want to have another button, and I will use the label of logout, and also on click, I will use this logout that we destructured it here from the use of hook. And after the on click, let's have a type of button and the variant of light. So you can see that we created this button and we are using it everywhere. That's so good. So let's format the document. Okay, it is not working because the format is not right. So let's create another division and then continue. So I will create another division for the next situation, and I use format document. So you can see that on the right side I'm using this is authenticated, and if it is true I will return this division with 2 buttons, else I will use another division. So let's complete it. And here we need to use some class names for the right side, like display of flex and also items of center and gap of 2. And inside of that, let's have some buttons. So I create a button, and for the label I will use the register, and on click I will use navigate to the path of public.register. And also let's have a type of button and a variant of light for it. Then let's have another button, and for the next button we use label of login, and also we use the onClick, and on the onClick we navigate our user to the path public.login. And also let's have a type of button and variant of light. This is it. So let's use formatted document. That's okay. And I think everything is good inside of the header. Let's have a quick review of it and continue. So we imported some of these, and then we have some of these, and we destructured this from the use auth hook, and then we have the navigate, and we created the helper function of user roles label creator. We will use it. Then inside of this main division of the header, we have a left part and a right part. So for the left one, we have this AI outline home, and we have some h1s to show some string text to the user. And on the right side, everything is dynamic. Let's minimize this. So on the right side, we will render everything dynamically, and we check that if the is authenticated is true, we return this division with buttons of the dashboard and button of logout, else we render the buttons of register and button of login. So I think everything is okay and the header is completed. So let's close it. And the next one is the sidebar. So inside of the layout, let's create a new file with name of Sidebar.tsx. First, let's import the CI user from the React icons, and then we use the use auth hook, and also we import the button and the use navigate and also the path of dashboard, and we want to use all of them inside of our sidebar. After that, let's use RAFC to create our component, and I don't need this React, so let's delete it, and let's delete this sidebar. Okay, this is it. So inside of the sidebar, first let's destructure the user from the use auth hook, and also let's use the navigate, which equals to use navigate. Let's format the document. So we need to use this, and let's create a helper function here with name of const of handle click, and this is an arrow function, and inside of this handle click we will receive the URL with type of a string. And after that we want to use the window.scroll tool, so we want to scroll the window automatically to the top of 0 and left of 0, and we use the behavior of smooth, so it would be smoothly scroll to the top. And after that, let's use the navigate, and we navigate to the URL that we are receiving from the handle click. That's it. So after this, let's use some class names here for the main division, like shrink of 0, and also this bg color of the purple, and also width of 60 and padding of 2. And for the minimum height, we use the calculator of 100 viewport height minus 48 pixel that is used for our header of our website. And after that, let's have the flex and flex of column and items of stretch and also gap of 8. That's it. So after that, let's have another division. And for the class names, let's have self of center and also flex and flex of column and items of center. Let's use the format document. Well, that's good. And I use the CI user icon inside this division with some class names like width of 10 and height of 10 and also text of white. And after that, I want to have an h4 with class names of text of white. And inside this h4, I want to return the user.first name and then a space and user.last name. So we'll show the CI user icon on the top, and then we want to have the user.first name and user.last name. So let's format the document. This is it. So we have this division, and let's have an enter here. So you can see this is a separate division. And after this division, let's have some buttons. So let's create them one by one. The first one would be a button with label of users management. And for the on-click, we handle the click of path-dashboard.users management. And also we have the type of button and the variant of secondary. Let's have another button with label of send message. And also for the on-click, we use the handle click of path-dashboard.send message. And for the type, we use button, and for the variant, we use secondary. This is it. Let's format the document and go to the next one. The next would be a button with label of inbox, and for the on-click, we use handle click of path-dashboard.inbox, and we have the type of button and also the variant of secondary. That's it. Let's create the next one. The next one would be a button with label of all message, and for the on-click, we use the handle click of path-dashboard.all-message, and also for the type, we use the button, and for the variant, we use the secondary. Let's go to the next one. The next one would be a button with label of all logs, and on click, we use the handle click of path-dashboard.system logs, and also let's use a type of button and also a variant of secondary. This is it. So let's go to the next one. Next one, I want to have a button with label of my logs, and on click, I will use the handle click of path-dashboard.mylogs, and I will use the type of button and also a variant of secondary. This is it. So let's format the document, and now we have some of these buttons like user management, send message, inbox, all message, all logs, and my log. So after this button, I want to have an HR. So let's create it. So we want to have a horizontal row or horizontal line here, and let's continue. And the next button will have the label of owner page, and on click, we redirect the user to path-dashboard.owner with type of button and also the variant of secondary. So let's format the document. That's it. And after that, let's have a button with label of admin page, and on click, I will use path-dashboard.admin. I redirect the user to there, and I will use a type of button and also a variant of secondary. This is it. And after the admin page, I want to have another button with label of manager page, and on click, I will redirect the user to the path of dashboard.manager, and I use type of button and variant of secondary. This is it. And after that, let's have another button, and for the label, we use user page, and for the on click, we redirect the user to the path of dashboard.user, and we use the type of button and variant of secondary. And this is it. So this is finished, and then we export default the sidebar. So let's use the format document and have a quick overview and continue. So we created this sidebar, we imported some components and some other things from, for example, they use navigate and they use outhook, and inside of the component of the sidebar, we destructured the user, and also we created this navigate, and we created this helper function of handle click, and we received this URL, and first we scroll the window to the top with the smooth behavior, and then we navigate the user to the requested URL. Then we return the body of this component, and we have this division, and on the top we have another division with the CI user icon, and we show the first name and the last name of the logged in user. And after that we have some different buttons, one for the user management, then send message, and then inbox, and then all messages, all logs, and my logs, owner page, admin page, manager page, and user page. And we have this HR to separate them. So I think everything is okay. Let's close this sidebar and continue. Now we created the header and the sidebar. So we have the header.tsx and the sidebar.tsx. Now we can create the main layout component. So inside the layout, let's add a new file, and you know that we can use the index.tsx name, and it would be with the name of the layout automatically. So let's use this index.tsx, and let's minimize this for now. And first, let's import the use out hook, and also we import the header that we created just right now. And after that, let's have the outlet and use location from the React Rotterdam. And also, let's use the sidebar. So we use the header and the sidebar inside of our layout. And also, we are using the use out hook that we created previously. So after this, let's use the RAFC to create our component, and let's delete this React. We don't need it, but this function automatically creates the component with name of our file, and it is index.tsx, but we don't need it. So let's change this to the layout. That's it. So this is the layout component that we are using. Our routes. First, let's destructure the is authenticated from the use out hook, and after that, let's destructure the path name from the use location hook, and let's format the document. That's it. And also let's log the path name so we can check it later inside of our application. That's it. So after that, let's create a helper function. I create a const of sidebar renderer helper function, which is an arrow function, and inside of this function, I want to check that if the is authenticated is true, and the path name, which is the structure from the use location, dot to lowercase dot starts with the slash dashboard. So in this situation, I want to return this sidebar component, else I simply return null. And we don't use else, you know that when we are returning something inside of if, we don't need the else. So inside of this sidebar renderer helper function, we check this condition, and if it is true, we return this sidebar, else we return null. This is it. So let's format the document, and this is the sidebar renderer helper function, and then we have this division. So what we need to return, so we have this division, and first let's have the header in any situation and format the document. So inside of this layout, we always have the header, and after that I want to use the outlet, and we render all routes that are inside of this layout in this outlet. So let's create it, and I want to have a division with class names of flex, and inside of that, the first thing is I want to check that if the sidebar is exists. So I use this sidebar renderer helper function, and after that I use the outlet. This is it. So let's format the document. This is one of the most important components of our website that you are going to create. So let's have a quick review of it and continue. The first thing is we need to import these, and then with the structure that is authenticated from use out hook, and also the path name from the use location, and we will log it to the console so we can check it later. Then we have this helper function of sidebar renderer. So we check that if the user is authenticated, and also if the path name dot to lowercase dot starts with slash dashboard is true, we return the sidebar. That's it. So if the user is not authenticated or the path name is not like this, we return null. So this will render the sidebar dynamically for us, and that's it. Let's continue. And in the return section, we have one division, and on the top we use this header, and after that header, we want to use this outlet. So we have another division with class name of flex, and first we use this sidebar render, and then we use outlet. That's it. So this is the index.tsx that will be used as our main layout. So let's minimize everything and continue. Now we have the layout, so now we can work on our roads. So let's minimize again and go to the roads. Previously we created these paths and we used them in our layout and in the sidebar and also in the header. Now we can use these paths, we can create our roads. Let's create it. So let's close this path, and inside the roads I want to create them. So let's add a new file with name of index.tsx. That's it. So let's minimize it. And here, first let's import something from React Rotterdam. So what do we need to create our roads? We need the roads component and also the road and the navigate. And this is it. So after this, let's import something from the ./path that we just saw it. So we need the path of dashboard and also the path of public from ./path.tsx. And after that, let's import the auth component that we created previously. And after that, let's import something from /auth/auth.utils that we created. So we need to use some roles arrays here. So we need to have the all access roles and also the manager access roles and the admin access roles and the owner access roles. We use them to implement the role-based authorization here inside of this file. And after that, let's import the layout from the components layout that we just created. And then we need to import all pages that you want to use them. So I will import all of them, but you can simply copy paste these lines from the GitHub repo. Let's import all of them. So I want to have the admin page and the all message page, the dashboard page, the inbox page, the manager page, the my logs page, owner page, and send message page, system logs page, update role page, and also users page, then the user management, and then home, login, and not found, and also register page, and the unauthorized page. So this is all page that we are going to use inside of our router. That's it. Then let's use RAFC to create our component, and let's delete this React. I don't need it. And for the name of the component, I want to use global router. So I create this global router component and I will use it in all of my projects. So this is it, the const of global router. And here, what we need to do, we need to first let's delete this division. So inside this global router, we must return a routes component. And inside this routes, we can have some different routes, and each route can have a path and an element. This is it. So let's comment it. So this is the syntax of creating different routes inside of our program. But first, before that, I want to have a special route, and for this route, it will receive some children. And for this route, I don't use the path. I just use the element, and for its element, I want to use the layout. So all of the children of this route would be rendered inside of this layout. And let me show you quickly. Inside the layout, we are using the outlet. So all of the routes would be rendered here inside of this outlet, and this sidebar, which is on the left side, would be always fixed. This is so good and it will help us a lot. So let's use the format document. So we have the global router, and inside this global router, we have this routes component, and the first thing is a route that has the layout as its element, and inside of this route we can have all of our routes. So let's use them. First, let's have some public routes here. So I want to have some routes component for my public routes, and for the first one, instead of path, we can use index, so it would be the /, and after that, let's have the element of the home page, and after that, let's have another route with path of public.register, and also for the element, we use the register page, and after that, let's have another route with path public.login, and also we can use the element of login page, and also let's have another route with path public.unauthorized, and then let's have an element with unauthorized page. This is it. So let's format the document. So let's press enter here to separate them. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is it. So we have 4 public routes here, and let's continue. And after them, I want to have some protected rows. So let's create them. And for the protected rows, we want to have a different signature. So let's create them. So I create a row component, and this time again, I use an element, and for the element, I use auth guard. So this auth guard needs to receive the roles props, and for the roles, for this one, I will use all access roles. And inside of this rows with the element of auth guard with roles of all access roles, I want to return some rows that is inside of this row. So let's create them one by one. The first one will have the path of dashboard, and we have the element of dashboard page. And after that, let's have another row with path of send message and also the element of send message page. Then let's have a path of dashboard.inbox with element of inbox page. And after that, let's have the path of my logs with element of my logs page. And then let's have the path of user with element of user page. So you can see that this is the syntax that we can use the auth guard, and we want to have different roles arrays for them. So we created this all access roles. Let me show you that. So inside of the auth utils, we previously created these arrays with the owner, admin, and the manager and the others, and we use them here to implement the role-based authorization. So you can see that how useful they are. So this is one of them, and after that, let's create next rows. Again, I want to have a row component, and for its element, we use the auth guard, and for the auth guard, we use the roles of manager access roles. And as the children of this row, we want to return just one row with the path of manager, and also for the element, we use manager page. Well, you can see that it is really so easy and readable. So we created one row with the element of auth guard of all access. Then we have a row with element of auth guard with roles of manager access. And this is the syntax. So let's continue. And after this, let's create the next one. And for the next one, we have a row with element of auth guard again. But for the rows, this time we want to use admin access roles. And inside of this admin access roles, we want to have some different roles. So I show all of them here. So for the first one, I use the path of user management with the element of user management page, obviously. Then let's have another row with path of update role, and also for the element, let's use the update role page. Then let's have a path of all message with element of all message page, and then let's have another row with path of system logs, and for the element, we use the system logs page. And then let's have another row with the path of dashboard.admin, and for the element, we want to use the admin page. So let's use the format document. Good. So this was the first one, the second one, the third one, and also let's implement the last one. And it would be a row with the element of auth guard, and for the roles of this auth guard, we use owner access role. Let's create the row of it. So for this row, we want to have a path of dashboard.owner and element of owner page. So let's check these roles quickly with owner access roles. You can see that this is an array with just owner. So this says that only the owner can have access to this owner access role, which is used inside of this. So it means that this auth guard will protect from the page, and it will allow just the owner to have access to this row. So this is it. And after that, let's have this comment. So this was for the protected rows, and you can see that we are protecting all of these rows inside of our application using auth guard. This is it. So let's continue, and after this auth guard, let's create a catch-all or 404 row here. I create a new row with the path of pathPublic.notFound, and for the element of it, we use the notFound page. And in order to render this for all of the other page than this page that we are created here, we can use another row with path of a star, that means everything after this path, and we can use the element of navigate that is coming from there. Let me show you from React Rotterdam. So for this navigate, we can use a to prop, and we can say that you can navigate to the path of public.notFound, and we use replace. So I think everything is okay. Let's format the document, and have a quick overview of it. So what we have done here, let's have an enter here. So first we imported everything that we wanted to use inside of our router, and then we have this const of global router, and we returning these routes. And the first thing is this route that use the element of layout. So everything is inside of this route of element of layout, and they will be rendered inside of this route. That's it. So we have some public routes here, then we have the protected routes, and for them we use this element of authguard. You can see that they are all inside of these four routes that they have the authguard with roles of all access, manager access, admin access, and owner access. This is it. So please check all of them again, and if you have any questions, ask me on the comments. And after these protected roles, we have these 404. So this is it, and how we can use it. Let's go to the app.tsx. This is it, and let's delete this React. We don't need it. And here, let's delete this app. And here, I want to use that global router. So let's use the global router, and let's delete this because I think I don't need these class names here. And let's use the format document. So inside of this app, we return a division with this global router. And also after that, let's use the toaster component because we need it in the next page. So inside of this toaster must be imported from the React hot toast. So let's have a quick overview of everything until now. So let's go to the src and main.tsx. Here we are using this auth context provider, but we need to have the browser router. So let's have it here, and let's import it. So browser router, yeah, it imported dynamically, and let's use this here and use the format document. So in the main.tsx, we are using the browser router, so this will allows us to use the React Rotterdam package, and inside of that I have this auth context provider, and then I have this app. So let's close it and open the app.tsx. And here you can see that inside of this app, we are returning a division, and then we have this global router and the toaster. So let's go to the global router, which is inside of the routes index.tsx. So this is the global router, and everything are rendered inside this global router. So we are using these routes, and then we use this route with element of layout, and everything is inside of this router. So I think everything is okay. Let's minimize everything, and now let's check that do we have any error or problem or not. So I will use the npm run dev. Let's check it. Well, our project must be here on localhost port 3000. Let's open it. Well, you can see that we have everything that we created. We have this header on the top. We have a sidebar, but it is not rendered because we are not authenticated or we don't log into the website. Then we have this register and the login. So let's see that. Do we have this register page? Yes, we have the /register. Do we have the login? Yes, we have the /login. Let's go back. So this is it. Let's check that. Do we have access to /dashboard? /dashboard. We will be automatically redirected to /unauthorized. That's so good. Let's go to the home. So you can see that we implemented all routes that we want, and now we can use them inside of our project.